Dale's James Randall here. It is a beautiful Thursday here in Dallas, Texas. This is News for Normies, the podcast. We try to dig through the news and bring you something actually useful. Of course, it is available on Amazon Prime, Podcasts and Music, Deezer, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, Facebook, and YouTube. For those of you that want to watch the video version where I do pull up the articles themselves and I do pull up different videos to watch, you can check that out on YouTube or Facebook. News for Normies. Excuse me, News for Normies. Not bad. All right, we're starting off with some gamer news. For those of you that play video games, this is going to be big news for you. Microsoft has bought Bethesda. Bethesda is a major gaming studio. They create titles such as The Elder Scrolls and some other stuff like the Fallout series. I believe they even have Doom as well. Anyways, Microsoft says they will honor already announced Bethesda games coming to PS5, but the rest will be on a case-by-case basis. So, just days after Sony announced pricing for the PlayStation 5, Microsoft revealed a huge surprise on Monday morning: the acquisition of the massive game publisher behind franchises like Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, and Doom, in a deal worth $7.5 billion in cash. The deal for the conglomerate ZeniMax Media and its games publisher Bethesda Softworks will incorporate several major video game development studios under Microsoft's Xbox Studios umbrella, as well as the major game franchises they oversee. Bethesda Softworks oversees the studio's ID Software, which makes Doom, Bethesda Game Studios, which makes Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Arcane Studios, which made Dishonored and Deathloop, and Machine Games, which makes Wolfenstein. Critically, Bethesda Studios and its myriad games are multi-platform. The company creates and publishes games for Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo platforms. Bethesda also has major games on PC, Mac, and smartphones. Moreover, two major upcoming Bethesda-published games are initially exclusive to Sony PlayStation 5, Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. In a bizarre twist, though, Microsoft now owns the studios, making those games and the publisher in charge of both, but the company told Bloomberg it will honor those contracts. Both games will appear on Sony's PlayStation 5 or heading to Microsoft's Xbox Series X and Series XS consoles. Xbox leader Phil Spencer said, "I love the Elder Scrolls games." And by the way, this is a Business Insider story. This comes from Ben Gilbert over at Business Insider. Seems well written so far, very factual. I'm a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls series. Skyrim being the most latest entry into it, other than ESO, which is Elder Scrolls Online. I'm not a giant fan of these online games. I know a lot of people really like them because they can play with their friends, but they're really, really boring to me. The online RPG is just the same thing. You're just running around with your friends with a half-written story, and you're all chasing the same object. And I don't know, it's just not fun to me. A lot of it is what gamers refer to as level grinding, which means you have to play hours and hours of the game to make your character strong enough to even survive in these areas. And then by the time you are able to survive in these areas, you kind of taking the thrill out of it, you know? Anywho, beyond Starfield, it sounds like major upcoming entries in blockbuster franchises like The Elder Scrolls and Doom may also skip Sony's next game console. That is a power move by Microsoft. Now, I'm not a PlayStation guy, but I have owned PlayStations before. I had the original PlayStation and Final Fantasy VII when I was younger. In fact, my very first paycheck that I ever earned, I bought myself a PlayStation with it and Final Fantasy VII. It had just come out. It was brand new. It was the first thing I ever bought for myself was a video game system. So, you know, my parental units were not very happy with me for that, to say the least. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. I just ate. I try to squeeze in these recordings basically when I can, and sometimes it means that, you know, I don't, like, I'm not at my best sounding, if you will. So yeah, I love Elder Scrolls. I love Doom. I think that this is a power move by Microsoft. This is a big studio, and you're denying a hugely popular franchise access to a platform. Now, that could also backfire. I mean, don't you want that PlayStation money just as well? I get that you're trying to push the Xbox, but I mean, if you release an Elder Scrolls game, you don't allow it to come out on anything except Xbox, you piss a lot of people off. I don't think a lot of people are going to go buy an Xbox to play one game, is what I'm saying. Now, I love Xbox. That's my console of choice. But lately, I've just been really playing on PC the most. It's more powerful, and the graphics are better. Because I use a video editing computer, obviously. Sony's PlayStation 4 boasts a vast portfolio of critically and commercially successful games, including God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, The Last of Us Part 2, and Bloodborne, that can only be played on the PlayStation 4. Microsoft's Xbox One, on the other hand, only has a handful of such games: Gears 5, Sea of Thieves, and Halo Master Chief Collection, and they can all still be played on PC if you'd prefer. Instead, Microsoft has focused on a new service named the Xbox Game Pass, which offers a Netflix-like library of games that can be downloaded to your Xbox PC or played remotely via the cloud on Android smartphones. Game Pass charges a monthly subscription that starts at $10 and includes all of Microsoft's first-party games at launch. It is, in short, a tremendously good deal for consumers. Yeah, it's a good deal, man. Adding Bethesda's stuff to the Xbox Game Pass will also be a really, really good deal. I can just imagine. So, moving on from that, Carol Baskin of Tiger King fame is sued for defamation. Now, I'm amused by this story. I was actually in Miami earlier this year, as a matter of fact, hanging out with one of the guys that was on the Tiger King show and discussing possibly filming something for him and so on and so forth. So I get it that a lot of people really hate this lady. He hates this lady, and a lot of people, that were around the Joe character. I don't know if you've seen Tiger King. If not, that's a Netflix thing. It's a really, really trashy documentary about some zoo owner, basically a zoo owner from Oklahoma who is flamboyantly gay and had 2 boyfriends that he was feeding drugs to. And so, I mean, it's a crazy, crazy story. Carol Baskin is an animal rights activist, and she basically took this guy down and got him locked up. Carol Baskin, who became a pop culture sensation due to Netflix's docuseries Tiger King, is being sued for defamation by a former assistant. As part of the lawsuit, the daughters of Baskin's former husband are seeking more information about what happened to her father, who disappeared mysteriously more than 2 decades ago. The amended complaint to an earlier lawsuit was filed Tuesday in state court in Tampa by Don Lewis's 3 daughters. That's her former husband, Donna Pettis, Linda Sanchez, and Gail Rathbone, as well as his former assistant, Ann McQueen. It also names Baskin's current husband and her tiger rescue sanctuary as defendants. The lawsuit said that Baskin defamed McQueen by posting a video diary entry on YouTube earlier this month in which she says McQueen played a role in Lewis's disappearance. Those statements and embezzlement allegations also were made on Baskin's website, bigcatrescue.org, the lawsuit said. Woof. You can't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you take that risk? I mean, this lady's on Dancing with the Stars or whatever, so clearly she's doing okay. I mean, she's making money. I don't know why you would take that kind of risk. The lawsuit also is seeking what is known as a pure bill of discovery, which allows information in a case to be gathered before a civil complaint is filed. Despite contention to the contrary, the truth has never been explored in any court, and there is a good faith basis to believe the truth will open up many viable remedies, the lawsuit said. Man, Lewis's disappearance remains an open case. That is her husband. Her husband did disappear, and it is still an open case, and amazingly, no one seems to have any information on it. Although the people I hung out with in Miami that were around this are adamant that she knew something, got rid of him, etc., etc. I'm not going to get into it because it's not my place to say, and I don't really care, to be honest. The documentary is about Joseph Maldonado Passage, also known as Joe Exotic, a former Oklahoma zookeeper. He was convicted of trying to hire someone to kill Baskin, who had tried to shut him down, accusing the Oklahoma Zoo of abusing animals and selling big cat cubs. Man, imagine that. In retaliation, Maldonado Passage raised questions about Lewis's disappearance. The documentary extensively covered Maldonado Passage's repeated accusations that Baskin killed her husband and possibly fed him to her tigers. Baskin, who founded Big Cat Rescue, has never been charged with any crime and released a statement refuting the accusations made in the series. Baskin, who is a contestant on the show Dancing with the Stars this season, said nothing when judges of the dance TV competition made references and jests to the belief that Lewis was killed and fed to the tigers at her sanctuary. Yeah, she just wouldn't comment, and why would you? Anything you comment is just going to make you liable or is going to incriminate you, if you will. All right, going on to our political story of the day, because politics just invades the news every day. You can't get out of it. You can't get around it. You can't even get out of it with sports nowadays. It's just politics, politics, politics. It's like just 24/7 right now. According to reports, and this comes from Luis Casiano of Fox News, it looks like, 92% of college faculty members' political donations in this battleground state went to Democrats. No shocker there. If you guys didn't know, Democrats basically, practically 95% of Democrats are college professors, or college professors are Democrats. I've heard this over and over and over from current students, former students. I had that experience myself. Now, granted, when I was in college, I was a Democrat, so I wasn't bothered too much. But my teachers did tend to pick on the kids that were God-fearing, if you will, or picked on the kids that had more conservative ideas about marriage and so on and so forth. I mean, I saw it happen myself in college, and I'm talking about 20 years ago. I was in college, or 15 years ago. I'm not that old. Anywho, current people going right now that attend have told me the same thing, so I guess it's only gotten worse. According to Mr. Cassiano here, the vast majority of college faculty members in Ohio who donated to political campaigns during this year's election cycle heavily favored Democratic candidates, according to reports. Faculty members in Ohio's 11 largest universities donated more than $939,000 to candidates for federal office, according to the College Fix, a conservative news site that reports on higher education. Of that, $868,000 went to Democrats. Donors contributed $168,000 to presidential candidates, with Joe Biden receiving 83% of the funds compared to 17% for Trump. In Ohio State University, the largest university in the state, 93% of faculty members gave contributions to Democrats. Biden received 90% of contributions to presidential candidates. Wow. Wow, the disparity. The one school in which Trump received more donations than Biden was Youngstown State University, where he raised $2,300 compared to $785 for the former vice president. Trump leads Biden 48 to 45% in the state, according to Real Clear Politics. In 2016, Trump won Ohio by 8 percentage points. At other schools, Trump was outraised by Democratic candidates who have since dropped out of the presidential race earlier this year, the news site reported. Bernie Sanders raised more than $24,000 at University of Cincinnati, while supporters there gave Trump only $3,300. Yeah, the fundraising abilities of the Democrats is nothing to snort at there. I mean, they do raise money. Now, Trump also has raised a lot of money. I don't think Trump cares about this. He's probably not hurting. I've seen some of the totals of what's been raised by him and Biden, and believe me, they both made a lot of money, but Trump had a lot of money coming into this thing before Biden even really, got off the ground, if you were. We're going to talk about space now, going on science. This from the, it says ATP. I don't know what that is. Some science website. NASA chief warns Congress about Chinese space station. Is the NASA chief a Trump employee? Maybe. China. What do we got here? NASA Chief Jim Bridenstine told lawmakers Wednesday it was crucial for the U.S. to maintain a presence in Earth's orbit after the International Space Station is decommissioned so that China does not gain a strategic advantage. What do they mean by strategic advantage there? Because you're not supposed to have weapons in space. Now, I wonder if we do. According to all the international treaties, you are not supposed to weaponize space. I don't know how that would be punished. I just imagine they all weaponize space, quite frankly, and they're just dropping bombs for space if they want to. NASA Chief Jim Bridenstine is the one bringing this, concern, you'd say. The first parts of the ISS were launched in 1998 and has been continuously lived in since the year 2000. The station, which serves as a space science lab and is a partnership between the U.S., Russia, China, Japan, Europe, and Canada, is currently expected to be operated until 2030. I'll tell you one thing that has me very concerned, and that is that a day is coming when the International Space Station comes to the end of its useful life, said Bridenstine. In order to be able to have the United States of America have a presence in low Earth orbit, we have to be prepared for what comes next, he added. To that end, NASA has requested $150 million for the 2029 fiscal year to help develop the commercialization of low Earth orbit, defined as 2,000 kilometers, 1,200 miles, or less from the planet's surface. We want to see a public-private partnership where NASA can deal with commercial space station providers so that we can keep a permanent, uninterrupted human presence in low Earth orbit, said Bridenstine. I don't think it's in the interest of the nation to build another international space station. I do think it's in the interest of the nation to support commercial industry where NASA is a customer. I like this idea. I'm sure Elon Musk would jump all over this idea with his flamethrowers. I mean, this is I'm such a huge space nerd, okay? Space, it calls to me in a way that a lot of things do not. It's just endless exploration out there. There's endless questions to be answered out there. There's endless questions we don't know to ask that we can only ask by going out there. So I absolutely think we have to go out there. And by the way, I mean, we only have this one planet right now. What happens if we lose this planet, if we destroy it, if we ruin it? I do absolutely think that we need to get off this planet before an asteroid smacks us or something. If we're ever going to progress as a species, then it's going to have to be out in space. It can't be here. I mean, that's very clear to anybody that understands even the basic of science. As far as commercialization, I'm a free market guy, so I do believe that if you open up low Earth orbit, some enterprising guy like Elon Musk is going to invest in maybe even building his own station up there just to have a condo or a hotel that you can, you know what I'm saying, that like the wealthy can go and visit outer space. I'm sure people would sign up for that. If I had money, I would be like one of the first people buying a ticket on that. I would love to go spend a night in space. Even though I'd be terrified the whole time of what's going to happen and such, I would take the risk of blowing up in a rocket because I'm a crazy, crazy person. And I just can't imagine not having that experience if I could. I mean, talk about living your life to the fullest, right? Bridenstine warned lawmakers it's critical to maintain U.S. space supremacy in the face of a planned Chinese space station that Beijing hopes will be operational by 2022. The station is named Tiangong, meaning Heavenly Palace, and in June, Chinese state media announced it was partnering with 23 entities from 17 countries to carry out scientific experiments on board. These countries included both developed and developing countries such as France, Germany, and Japan, as well as Kenya and Peru, according to Xinhua News Agency. Hey, my country of Peru, baby. For those that don't know, because I don't really talk about it, I'm half Peruvian. My mom came from Lima, Peru. So, I have a fondness in my heart for Peru. I've been a couple of times, so I've certainly am familiar with the country. I have family there. It's a beautiful country. It is run like crap. I mean, like most, quote-unquote third world nations. Now, Peru is definitely not a third world nation, but I don't know if I'd call it a first world nation. But I haven't been in a decade. So, things change. I have to go back down there and see what's going on. They got to be first world, I guess. They're contributing to the space station up in China, right? China is rapidly building what they call the Chinese International Space Station, and they're rapidly marketing that space station to all of our international partners, said Bridenstine. It would be a tragedy if, after all of this time and all of this effort, we were to abandon low Earth orbit and cede that territory. I agree. He explained that the microgravity of ISS offered great potential for scientific advances, from innovations in pharmaceuticals to printing 3D human organs to the creation of artificial retinas to treat people with macular degeneration. Bridenstine said that it was therefore necessary to fund NASA to pay companies to set up a space station where it would be one of several customers in order to drive down its own costs. This, he added, was vital to ultimately not cede that territory to another country that doesn't have our interests at heart. Okay, I'm with him on this. Hey. All right. Since I'm by myself today, I like to do this on Thursdays and Fridays, maybe. I've got a video to watch. This comes from my man, Bill Burr. Now, I love Bill Burr. Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedians. He's just a very angry Bostonian. Bostonian. This is from Boston. This one is called, and this came out 2 weeks ago. Wife banned me from the gym. This is from his Monday morning podcast, and I absolutely will shout out Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. Check out Bill Burr's podcast, the Monday morning podcast. It's fantastic. He's hilarious. If you like Bill Burr, you'll love his podcast because it's just basically him Bill Burring. He's sitting there ranting the entire time, right? That's just it's how he rolls over there. All right, let's give it a listen, huh?
All right. Fat wife won't let me work out. There's nothing funnier than just getting to the point.
What?
And just being the truth.
I don't even want to hear the question. I just love, like, the...
I mean, that's like a one-liner. Fat life won't let me work out. I love it. That's one of the greats of all time. Questions. Hey there, Billy Goat. Let's see here. I have a problem and would like your hilarious opinion on what I should do. Me and my wife have been together about 5 years now and married for 2. When we first got together, I was a young stud in my prime, in shape and crushing ass left and right. She was in good shape, too. I used
Ain't that always the way?
to work out 4 to 5 days a week, and life was great. When we got married, she didn't like me going to the gym because she says I will leave her for a fitness chick.
Oh, God, I almost spit my coffee everywhere. Now, before Bill comments, I'm going to go ahead and comment on this topic because this is absolutely true. I have done this. I was a huge workout person all through my 20s. I was in awesome shape. I was ripped, all that good stuff. I put a lot of time in the gym. Not as much now, but it's partly because of film. I've dropped about 25 of the pounds I put on for my last role already. I have another 20 to go. So, I still engage, if you will. But I've dated women that they do not like it if you go to the gym. I've dated women that just generally don't want you to look attractive at all. Like, they don't. They don't want you to dress nice. They don't want you to, like, it's weird. And it stems from, like this guy said, it's just from a fear. They have a fear that you're going to leave them. Which is just insane, but, the mind of ye lady is different from the mind of us men. So, basically, if somebody is that insecure, you gotta go. You gotta go. Nowadays, especially, everyone has plenty of options. Pick up your cell phone. You can throw a rock and hit somebody that's on Tinder. You know what I mean? There are billions of people on the planet. You can find somebody. And if you don't like who you have right now, you trade them in. You can upgrade your model even if you want to. You can sort them on your Facebook by size and preferences. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Humans have become a commodity like anything else you purchase at a grocery store. So, keeping your partner's attractiveness level down, I guess, helps you retain them. I think that's a stupid way of thinking. But people do think like that.
Yeah, the insecurity. All right. I got to the point where I had to get her a membership so we could go together just so I could have my joy of pumping iron. But she only went 4 times and stopped going.
Pumping iron.
Woof.
Pumping iron, you got to do it. This
pump.
guy's an old school guy, pumping iron.
People still say pump, but he was probably.
Yeah, he says it. Doesn't some of your older relatives call people jive turkeys? Huh? Do I got to watch Ghost Dog? Fucking.
And leave my kids on the stairs, whatever the fuck that means. What does that fucking mean?
I just love. I gotta tell you something. As a comedian,
random.
But as a comedian, I respect the balls of an obscure reference. She probably got offended me like, what? Because it's Bill Cosby. We all saw the fucking movie. You think I saw every black movie that's out there? Fucking asshole.
And this is why I love Bill Burr. Bill Burr will just say it. He does not care. Now, obviously, now this ruins my episode of News for Normies because he's cursing all over it after I've done such a great job of not fucking cursing. So I might as well get one in myself there.
I think maybe she's really into movies and she's fucking offended that you think that, that she would go watch that pile of shit.
Oh my God.
All right, so anyways, now we just...
Wait, I'm sorry. Just real quick, just before we move on. I do find that, like, white guys do have the most random fucking movie references ever.
That's true.
Like, nerdy white guys have the most they're throwing it out there like everybody knows it. I do feel
Now,
like
do you
that's
feel
kind
like...
of a thing.
Do you feel like isn't some of it random because maybe they're watching really white shit that you wouldn't watch? Because I think... Because I kind of get, like you... Every once in a while, like, some of your peeps will be over our house and something will come on that I've never heard of and you guys go fucking nuts like
Right.
It's like Frosty the Snowman. Every year I would watch this shit. I have no idea what it is, so maybe there's some of that. Anyways, I don't want to get into that guy's fucking quagmire. Huh? Conundrum, quagmire. We're using all the big ones. All right. Anyways, now we just had a baby. Girl. Congratulations. And we're both tired and out of shape. I want to get back into the gym and get rid of this dad bod, but I can't because she guilt trips me saying I could help with the baby instead. Instead of wanting to get in shape, also, she always says I'm going to get ripped and leave her for a skinny girl in the gym, and it annoys the shit out of me. That is annoying.
It really is.
Yeah, but you feel really insecure, like, after you have a baby, because it's just your body. It's like they don't prepare you for what childbirth does to your body.
I know, but she was doing this shit before.
Right, but she's like moving at. But no, I'm not saying that she shouldn't. They should.
I don't understand this because I have not done the parenting thing, the child thing. I've not made a baby, so I've not seen. You know what I'm saying? I've been with single moms, but they've had awesome bodies, so I don't know. I do understand that it does change your body. I do understand that some girls get stretch marks and some girls manage not to, and it's just all genetics, like everything else, man. Like some people have a full head of hair, and some people are bald, man. It just is what it is. Your genetics are genetics. I do know that generally speaking, a lot of ladies seem a little more tied up into their physical appearance than us men in general. I don't care what I look like at all in the slightest, but a lot of people do. And so I can see how they would be very upset about the changes that happen to their body through childbirth, but it's kind of one of those trade-offs you just have to make, Like guys trade off having beer guts so that we can enjoy our beers.
Get a babysitter so she can work out, so they can work out together or whatever.
Yeah, but you already tried that and she only went 4 times. So now, listen.
She doesn't want to work out.
I've lost 3 friends this year, 2 heart attacks and a stroke. Like, what this guy's doing is actually, like, going to prolong his life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you don't want to have a kid with the guy and then he drops of a fucking heart attack. I mean, what are we doing
Oof.
here? Anyways, instead of wanting to get in shape, okay, I read all of that. What should I do? I don't want to give up working out, but I also don't want to feel unsupportive as a husband. Keep up the good work. Congrats on the baby boy. I mean,
No,
see, his heart's in the right place.
I
Go to
know,
the fucking gym.
That's really hard. And you know what, though? You have to go to the gym, though, because it's what you feel, what makes you feel good. And, like, she'll get over it. She won't take it personally.
Just have her blow you before you go to the gym. So she can relax. What? That's a good...
No, you just give her
Great
extra
suggestion.
kisses and tell her she's beautiful and tell her she's a great mom, and you'll help her out like whenever she needs it, and she'll get over it. Like she's just
I don't know. Take your dick out and be like, do you want to hang on to this? Huh?
You see this?
See this?
This is gonna walk right out that door if you don't let me go to the gym.
No, you got to...
It's just sensitive right now. It's a very sensitive time, so you have to be.
But she was sensitive before, too.
Yeah, I know. And it might not, who knows, it might be a bigger thing. But for now, but you should still go to the gym because,
Yes.
you need to get your stress out and all that other shit too. So good luck with that.
Yeah, so I agree with Bill 100%. I mean, he's hilarious, and that was a great and amusing take on this. But this is a pretty deep topic. You just can't, unfortunately, so I'm a big believer in... You have to be right with yourself if you're going to be right with anybody else. Like, you have to love yourself if you're going to love anybody else. I mean, it seems so silly to say, but it's the God's honest truth, as they claim. If you're unable to be happy, I don't see how you can make somebody else happy. I really don't. You can probably fake it for a while, and you might get away with it for a while. But eventually, it is going to catch you. And when it catches you, I mean... It could catch you at any time. It could catch you, 3 weeks into dating somebody. It could catch you 3 years into dating somebody. And so it's just better to know who you are, what you like, what you're about. Be in that. Do that. Build your life. Build your life without somebody. So you don't have to have somebody in your life. And then if you get to have somebody in your life, it's a bonus. I mean, that's what it is. A bonus. We'd all love a partner, sure. But, we all love partners in different ways. Not all of us want a monogamous, single relationship. And some of us want to, bang 10,000 people or whatever at the same time and date them all. I mean, teach their own and such. But if you're going to be married, that does imply monogamy at least. And she's clearly worried about him going and cheating and getting, dropping the weight, finding somebody else. But the reality is, like, if going to the gym makes him happy, then he can come home and make you happy. So literally this is a case of she's letting her own insecurities drive her man away. I mean... Bottom line is, if somebody wants to leave you, they're going to leave you, okay? They don't even need an excuse. If somebody's going to leave you, they're just going to leave. And you pushing them with stuff like this just seems like an easy way to push them out the door, which you can do. You can push somebody out the door in the same way that you can bring somebody in the door. Being charming and telling jokes and texting them all the time brings them in. Telling them they can't do what they want to do, telling them they can't be around people they want to be around, or you can't hang out with this person, or all that kind of stuff, pushes them out. And let's be real, we're all adults here. Adults want to live their lives. That's what we do. And adults do not like being told what to do. Okay? In fact, most Americans, in general, do not like being told what to do. Especially adults do not like being told what to do. That's just how it is. I don't know anybody on the planet that would put up with this for very long. Now, you will, of course, get allowances from your partner, especially they've been together for 5 years, married for 2. You're going to get allowances from your partner. Your partner's going to expect this kind of behavior-ish, maybe a little bit here and there, but they also expect you to see reason after a minute. So if this kind of behavior crops up often, then you know you're in a bad spot. If you find yourself having these thoughts often, I would suggest seeking counseling. And I don't mean the counseling of people online, and I don't mean your best friends. I'm a firm believer that your relationship issues stay within the relationship. Once you bring somebody else into your relationship issues, guess what? You're bringing somebody else into the relationship in general, period. And I know that may sound silly too, but really think about it. And think about whether you want anybody else in your relationship other than you and your partner. All right, that's my show for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If Enjoy your Thirsty Thursday. Don't forget you can catch me on News for Normies. That's on Deezer, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Listen Notes, Facebook, YouTube, and Amazon Prime Podcasts and Music. I will see you guys tomorrow.